Hmm. Daily game design time. Welcome. I'm your host, Scott Cable of Cabletop Games. I have a feeling this is going to be a bumpy stream. The connection's already a little bit weak. Hopefully we'll make it. I'm going to jump into... Yeah. Bummer. I don't know what's going on. Daily game design time. Welcome. Huh. Yikes. I don't know if... Yeah, I just hate this stop and start situation. So sorry. Still alive right now, but definitely struggling. I actually think my phone in general has been kind of struggling after the latest update. I have a Pixel 7, and after the latest update, even my camera is not working great. That's a little bit sad. It's sad mostly because the retreat is this weekend, and literally when I open my camera, it's just frozen. And I want to just be able to get a whole bunch of video and photos just to share what we're up to, because it's pretty awesome. And to not be able to make media myself is problematic, or is a problem. So it looks like this one is going to be a a stuttering stream. Well, not my favorite, but I've got work to do. Come on, you can do it. I don't think it's overheating. I don't know what's going on. There is some stuff I can close. Hopefully. You know what? I actually cannot tell yet whether these are, like, this is fundamentally a heat and resource problem when this happens, or whether this is really just like a connection on my phone. That's the trouble. Yeah, not too sure. It's looking slightly healthier. I hate to waste time like this too. Oh man. Oh, I was working on my I can show you this briefly, but then I think I really need to close this window. What else can I close? Yeah, so I was putting together the library yesterday, and I can show you a picture of what it is I've been working on. Thankfully, I got these bags because of Joe Bragg. Actually, the guy, I think it was yesterday or the day before, I had him in my stream. But these are really, they're honestly cheap. Like a couple of the zipper tab things have already broken off. Thankfully, they still work because there's 2 of them. But these are great. Like a great amount of space. Maybe even a little too loose. I don't know. I think they're awesome. So I have 8 of these coming up with me. 8, maybe 9. And that's the library. That'll be like 80 to 90, 95 games in there. So I'm excited about that. Most people bring their own stuff, but even this time, you know what I'm starting to notice is like there's a fair number of people that don't like that have that have filled out the welcome survey as if they're coming, but I don't see a registration for them. So I'm not sure what they are thinking. Like I don't know who they are or like whether we're just gonna have to have them pay at the door. I don't know. Oh, also, what was nice is I updated my collection list. I think it still needs some more updating. But I think I was at, I don't know, somewhere in the 350s or 60s before giving away a whole bunch. Now I'm down at 320. But I feel like it needs to be lower than this. I'm trying to give away some of these games. And I don't see a couple, so I do think a few of them are gone. Also, some of them are not games. Like, this is just an expansion. So, yeah. So it's not technically games that's in the, 310s or 20s necessarily. I have a lot of, like, Dice Throne, like Josh gave us. So that all counts as games. And I mean, those are boxes with games in them. So I guess those would count too. Some of these I'm pretty sure are gone. Like this one, I don't think is a thing. I need to add, Cities and Nights is in here. I do have a couple of copies. I think the Catan card game is gone. Pretty sure. And I do have 2 copies of Catan, so that's right. Cashflow, I actually have 2 copies. I don't want 2 copies. Carcassonne Big Box, yep. So anyway, I went through, I'm pretty sure Cash and Guns is gone. Blockus, I haven't seen that one in a while. Hopefully gave that one away. I think I did. Bad Company. This one, pretty sure this one is gone. Some of these are definitely on the chopping block. Many are meant to be sold, like for just a few dollars. So I'm just not giving them away. That's the difference. Anyway, I was working on this for a couple hours yesterday, updating my list and also filling out my library. So just stoked. Like it's gonna be just a really good time out there. I also appreciate that we have other people like posting their, like some of the game lists they're bringing, lists of games they're bringing. So that's very cool. Yeah, a bunch of these are set off to the side for sale. There's just so many cool games. There's just so many cool ones. I have a bunch more Merchant's Cove I'm bringing. Is he gonna get played? Probably not. I don't know. It's a cool game though. At least cool idea. It's a lot of work to get going because everybody is literally playing a different game for at least half of the game. I know I saw. Anyway, so that was good to work on. I know there's one thing I want to get to today that was really all about hang on one second. Yeah, it's a I brought is this it? This is it. This is one thing I wanted to touch on before jumping into the ADRA HQ card situation. Trying to figure that out. But here's this interesting question. It's not, I don't know if there's really a question in here. Oh, so this person asked about, some time ago I asked a question about red flags, which might suggest that your game is too complex / complicated. I feel like there must be, at this point, it'd be really interesting to define different schools of thought here. Because you have some games that just like go wild with like layers and layers and lists and just somehow going on and on with mechanisms. Like they just have so much stuff happening, and it's like the designers don't care. Like that's what they're here for. That's what their audience is here for. So even if you could argue that there's some kind of inelegance happening, there are some people that are into that. So that's totally cool. So it's unfortunate there is no measure for whether a game is too complex. You can definitely ask, is it too complex for the audience? You can definitely ask that. But even then, how would you define your audience? Is your audience whoever would find this game interesting and not too complex? In that case, the definition is the game itself. And so that doesn't really help us. It's just a marketing problem at that point. Because the question is like, how do you decide what goes in and what comes out? And that's been the issue with Sugar Shack the whole time. It's that it was too simple, then I added a bunch, then it was too kind of weird and like there were too many. It started feeling like there were too many rules, and so I cut back some stuff just to try to find the essence. And then it turned out, and I'm trying to think of a couple of examples. So when it was too simple, when it was just an abstract, there was no randomness in it at all, I started adding in some randomness and started adding in some more options. So it was like there was only like one or two buildings at the start, the very beginning of the design, apart from the Sugar Shack. So the town was always like a thing, but it was just the market, I'm pretty sure, right at the start. And then maybe, I don't remember what the other card would have been. I think it was just tracking money or something. And then I started adding a bunch more buildings, added a couple of dice rolls or a couple of little decks of cards. So there was some more randomness now. And then I kept thinking, kept dreaming, and then town grew, and then I had a system for moving around in town. The mechanical idea the game started with was, what if there was worker placement, but worker placement, the placements available to a particular worker are limited to what that worker is adjacent to. So it's not like send your guys out, gather them back, and then send them out. It was, here's your little pawn. You can move one step at a time and just kind of march them around and make them do things. So and it represented you. Francisco, Mike, welcome, guys. Yeah. It just comes down to, is the experience worth the effort? Let's see. Francisco says, I know nothing of complex games. You said how long your rulebook was recently, right, Francisco? If a game is too complex, it just means there are too many rules for what I'm looking to get out of the game. Good point. Kind of like, what is XYZ worth? Whatever someone's willing to pay for it. Yes. So that is what I'm thinking. So at the same time, I think for me, I want to develop. 45 page. Oh, it was in the 40s. I think that's right. So what I want to develop is a sense for the kind of people that I want to engage with my games, and that's been informed pretty seriously by how often I teach and the kind of experience level I typically teach too. So that, I think that has really affected me. Also, I certainly have, I think, a lower threshold for like remembering rules. So I have some friends, like, we'll sit down to a bigger game. I've had a campaign group for a while that we've like wandered around. We've tested a bunch of different games. Nothing is super like settled, or we haven't been able to settle into anything. And then like my weekly calendar shifted, so I can't even meet up with them on the same night anymore. So we don't really do it. But there was a time when we were trying some of these different games, and one of them I think was Massive Darkness 2. Was that it? There are several. They're pretty big games. They take a long time to set up and all that. And then, there's player character progression, and all the baddies, like, they have all these their own behaviors and all that kind of stuff, right? Those big dungeon crawler types. And it's clear to me that a couple of my friends, they're just absorbing rules like a sponge. And for me, like, I'm not. When that situation comes up again, I'm gonna need some help, because I am not absorbing all that stuff. Now, could I? Maybe, but for some reason, their memories are just much stronger for those things than mine. So in some ways, I'm just designing for myself, right? I'm also designing for the people I typically teach. And so even if that changes a little bit, I still value, I think I said this recently, I'm more of a poet than a novelist, and I really believe that. That showed up before this kind of thing. And all I'm talking about is the kinds of projects that I'll take on. It's not like, I don't know. Yeah, it's just an analogy for how big a scope I think I can handle. Because I've actually tried writing some stories, like doing some world building and stuff like that. And I enjoy it. I like the idea of fleshing out a world with cultures and traditions and all that. But it's way too much for me to even really, really consider, like, putting a couple hundred hours into. At least that's what it feels like. So when it comes to taking on a project, I'm more likely to take on something that's quite small. It doesn't mean that thing is less powerful, right? So when I let's say, for instance, one thing I've done quite a bit of songwriting. I think that there needs to be. It's almost like you take the pressure of a novel, or probably not that big, but what happens if you're able to take the pressure of that novel and squeeze it down into a small space, right? So take the meaning, take the impact of a novel and try to squeeze it into a small space. So you have a lot of decisions to make in that, and a lot of sacrifices to make to keep that space, to keep that surface area low. And so I value that process. I love it. And those decisions of, like, what to cut, what to keep, that's so painful, but I love that set of decisions. And so I'm not saying that it's great to compare a small experience to a big one. But I do think there's a lot. I love the energy. I love the heat that goes into the condensing something down to what I view as its essentials. Yeah, the 6-word story. Right. So I love that. I'm attracted to that, whereas other people are more attracted to building out this big thing. There's value to both, right? So I think I find that I'm much more attracted to smaller games. Like, once I saw what small games can do, the tension that they can introduce, there are limits for sure. Some people like the big sweeping stories. That's totally cool. But when I found that you can really create something like a massive experience, an impactful experience in a small space. That's cool to me. That's really, really cool. So anyway, I was thinking about this stuff, complexity, something being complex versus complicated. There's an idea I like. I was actually working on writing a response here. As I started or like hinted at, my tendency is to think in terms of what is this going to take to teach. So yes, you might list things in different categories, or maybe it's like here's the the category and here's the subcategory. You might taxonomize a certain way. That's not what I'm interested in here. It's more like, how long is this game going to teach? And there was that's one measure, and that's an actual near objective measure. Like there will be a range of time it takes to teach a game, for the typical audience for that game. It approaches objectivity. Of course, it's not objective, but there's that. So the idea that every second a person spends waiting to play a game is a second closer to them wishing they were doing something else. And so I think that really matters. Some people, they're fine, right? They're used to it. They can sit through a 20-minute teach, 30-minute teach. But for those of us, for some people who are for non-gamers, and this is the audience I'm usually around, 3 minutes is kind of a long time to sit and listen to somebody talk. We're not used to that in conversation. 3 minutes is a long time in conversation. I don't know the last time you listened to somebody talk at you for 3 minutes. That feels like a long time if it was meant to be a back and forth, right? Of course, if it's a teach, you might expect something different. But if you're with a conversation partner and they go for 3 minutes, you'll be kind of looking at them, then you'll start kind of looking away. You might look down at your phone because this is not 3 minutes is a long time. So anyway, yeah, that's not quite true, Mike. We interact for about an hour a day. But the point is, if you're yeah, right, Francisco, you're always welcome. The point is, how do you reduce teach time? In fact, on Monday night, I was teaching Magic Maze. I think I described, it could have been yesterday, I described how I like to teach Magic Maze. And it's a rolling teach, so you can get to playing right away. So the two ways I would like to think about whether something is losing its sense of how to describe it? Elegance, integration, maybe focus. When something is losing those things, I think one way that I will always try to, a couple ways I would test that is, first, is this worth adding to the teach? Is it worth adding time on to the teach? The second, and that's even dependent on whether somebody has the skills to do like a rolling teach. The other way, and I really like this, from Peter C. Hayward, I think. It was their podcast. I can't remember. It's the two guys, BJ somebody maybe. And it's something about fun. I don't remember. But those guys talked about a rules tax, or fun tax. So for every rule, it comes with a tax on fun. And so the question is, does the rule that you add account for its own fun tax? Yeah, fun problems. That's right, fun problems. So if a rule is going to cost you, this is completely meaningless numbers here. If a rule is going to cost you 10 fun, is it going to make up for it in fun? So if it's gonna, if you're asking players to remember it You're asking them to internalize iconography related to it. You're asking them to whatever. You're asking more of them, right? You're placing a load on them by introducing this rule. Does it make the game as fun as or more fun than the weight it puts on your players to remember and practice interacting with that thing? So I think that's a cool way of thinking about it. It's not measurable in any way, I think, but it's kind of a fun thing to say, is this worth it? Is me loading this onto my players, is this going to be worth it? And if your answer is, oh, they're going to love this moment, it's going to create the coolest, it's going to build out the atmosphere, it's going to be, this really awesome thematic element or whatever it is, it's going to build the tension just right to this perfect climax. Like, if that rule is going to do that, or if it's going to help you do that, perfect. Like, go for it. If not, why is it there? Send it somewhere else. Save it for another game, right? That kind of thing. I think it's important to be hard on our games. To be extremely hard on them. And in a sense, to discipline them. Rein them in. Because they want to sprawl, they want to be chaotic, they want to keep getting bigger. But no, you have things you can save for next time. Yeah. So one of the things I wanted to accomplish is, actually, I was driving. I went up to Mililani in the center of the island to pick up our commercial coffee maker for the weekend. These gamer people do not sleep. It's partly because they are trying to play games until like 2 in the morning or something, and then they, a bunch of them, well, they're in cabins. People are snoring. They're on new mattresses, whatever. So there's all that effect too. But then some of them are up at like 7 to keep playing or to go on a hike or whatever it is. It's just pretty nuts. Anyway, so they rely on coffee. So it was helpful. It's been helpful. We have access. Our friends supply us a nice coffee maker for the weekend. So I was up in Mililani, drove up there. It's like a 30-minute thing. On my way back, I thought, I have a task for Gemini. And I thought I'd asked Gemini to work on this before, but it's a really, I don't know who is using AI bots or which ones you prefer or whatever. But they are incredible for many, many tasks and perilous to use for others. So, I started taking notes into Gemini, and I just made a few off-the-cuff decisions. I thought I did this before. I was almost certain I'd done this before, and I couldn't find the conversation. It was either in Grok or it was here in Gemini. And that was the conversation, and the task for Gemini was to do some of the work in just like brainstorming. Okay. Does it surprise you I've never seen any Terminators, Francisco? AI is really great at locating John Connor. I do know Sarah Connor, but the only reason I know Sarah Connor is because when I was in Buffalo, this was during a grad school time, my girlfriend at the time and I joined a laser tag. Was it Lasertron? It was one of those. That's right. Lasertron. It was one of those like integrated, fun park things plus a big laser tag thing. So I joined the laser tag and I got the monthly membership, and you could go as many times as you want. And you get like free arcade time, and you get to go out and use like the big wheels, and you get all this stuff. And it was like $20 or $25 a month. It was the dumbest deal. They actually changed it. I think we were kind of grandfathered in after they changed it. But they realized at some point that this is way too cheap, and we have all these people coming all the time. And so we played a lot of laser tag. Laser tag is super fun. I didn't realize it. It's very nerdy. It's the same group of people showing up, and they've got their sort of expert um, strategies and real crazy like body movements and stuff. Like it was the goofiest thing, but it was super duper fun. And anyway, Sarah Connor, I'm sure you were waiting for this, Francisco. Sarah Connor was somebody's handle or whatever, like their name in the game, because everybody always used the same names. And in fact, I didn't know some people's real names. I only ever heard their laser tag handles. Sarah Connor was one of them. Yeah, that was like that. That's kind of my Slumdog Millionaire uh, Terminator knowledge nugget. Okay, anyway. So what I asked Gemini to do, it was to brainstorm a distribution of symbols for the cards, right? So that's where that was the starting point. And some of these are kind of off the cuff. Like I was just kind of thinking through how difficult the challenges should be, how many difficult challenges there should be in the deck. So what I just kind of came up with just in the moment was we have 4 categories. We have 4 categories of challenge cards. And it's like the 4 categories of things that ADRA supports. So these are the quotes pillars. Oh, by the way, I should say the meeting went very, very well yesterday. So this is the first I've met with Sharon since hearing that they were going to onboard me for the project. And then we had like that month of, we missed each other's communication and stuff. So the meeting was very positive. We were very much on the same page, even in the point like with form factor. Like she wants a small box game, a card game, perfect. She wants the game to highlight the 4 pillars of ADRA's activities. She wanted it to be like cooperative, educational, of course easy to learn, quick to play, that kind of thing. And it's exactly what we've been working on here. So thank you guys for your input so far, and I'm just excited that it's just cool to like have really clear alignment, to quotes understand the assignment and really make a lot of good progress. And I think I want to highlight that we started like in my imagination, this was very much a 5-minute dungeon type game plus a magic maze type game. And what one of the challenges from the beginning was how do we create distance? How could it feel familiar? How can I be inspired by these mechanisms? But how can this game also be different from those games? And I think we're achieving that bit by bit. So similar ideas, similar intensity, similar simplicity, and even when it comes to like the symbol stuff, the symbol work I'm just about to get into, there's definitely overlap, but this game captures, I think, what ADRA's up to better than what either of those games, if they were just rethemed ADRA, if they were rethemed, this game still captures ADRA's values and their activities better. So that's the point. That's perfect. Okay, so what I had, what I was working on last night is just saying, first I started with the challenge cards in these 4 categories. And I said for each category, and these are emergency response / disaster relief, that's one of them. So here's emergency response. And then there's the health and medical wellness category. There's an education piece like literacy. And then there's livelihood. And this tends to be something like, like microloans, teaching agriculture, or like Anyway, practical skills, mostly around economic development, or like actual like pragmatic like building stuff or whatever. So we have the 4 categories, and now just to set out some patterns, essentially run some algorithms so that these categories, which give some general characteristics to the categories. So how difficult are the challenges in each category? How many of each type level of difficulty? So just last night I was just kind of shooting from the hip, so to speak, and I said, 1 card with 7 symbols on it in each category. 2 cards, and now there are 10 cards in each category, so 40 total is the idea. So 1 7-symbol card. So this is essentially the boss card of that category, the big boss. And then 2 5-symbol cards, 3 4-symbol cards, and 4 3-symbol cards. So now it's a question of how many cards is it going to take for players to accomplish these things. So that's kind of the overall question, because these could have any number of symbols on them, but those symbols are all relative to the number of symbols on players' cards. And of course, keeping the number small is important here, because you're not asking people to like do a whole lot of calculation. The other question, well, the next question is, once you know how many symbols, it's which type of symbols. Which symbols go on there, and what should their distribution be? So that's where I don't really feel like I feel like giving some general rules of thumb and then letting the algorithm run. And that's what working with AI on this particular feature of the game is doing. So I set the parameters, and the parameters are, we need this many cards with this many symbols, and the distribution should be sensitive to the category of challenge. So Mike, let's see. I think you need to decide how you're distributing these into the deck first. I mean, my first thought is they just get shuffled and then stacked into 4 different piles based on player count. Yeah. So I was thinking that, this was at the end, I think, of our time yesterday. Player count, it would be essentially 4 cards per player. 4 challenge cards per player. Something like that. So have to take off to focus on a project. Pray continued blessing on all your designs. Francisco, thanks so much. God bless you. Have a great day. Yeah, always happy when you stop by. So actually, Mike, you brought up a thought that it's possible that if not all of the challenge cards get into the decks, then, you know, there's some chance that there's a chance that all the 7 symbol cards just end up out of the game. In that case, the round would be super easy. Okay, do all of them get shuffled? Yeah, it's different. So I think as long as the majority of the cards end up in the game, I don't know that this would happen though. Here's what I think the balance. I think the balance is somehow related to the number of symbols on players' cards and the number of symbols on challenge cards total. So that's what one thing I was thinking about. It's so the players always get their full decks. So that's something. And that means they're going to have the symbols they need. Like if you just stripped all the symbols away and made them into a, like, you put them in a bowl and then you put the symbols on the challenge cards into a bowl, those should be relatively equal. Or you should have slightly more symbols to deal with challenge cards than there are challenge card symbols that need dealing with. So that's one thing I was thinking about. And anyway, if a bunch of the cards get left out, you know, it might need to be that we seed the decks from hardest to easiest. In other words, there would be some extra setup involved here, but maybe all of the 7s, 5s, and 4s make it in, and then if you need more, then there are 3s left over, something like that. Or maybe it's just a difficulty tuning. Maybe maybe there's a distribution, you know, that, like a suggested difficulty thing. So 7 symbols. So how many total symbols are there here? 12, 24, 34, 41 symbols. 41 symbols. If the full deck got used, which it will not, in theory right now, that's 41 per category. 41 per category. So it's 164. Well, so that would shift. What's the difference then? Just 2, but this is 2 in each. So is there a rationale for that distribution of numbers? So I see, let's see, I do something like 2 7s, 2 5s, 2 4s, and 4 3s. So that's just like loading the top end, right? So that just should make it more difficult. Let's see, then take 1 3, 1 4, 1 5. Well, actually, hang on. Let's think about how many cards are in the game based on player count. So let me add a couple canvases here. Actually, I was going to do this first. No, let me add a couple canvases. So create a canvas for the current rule set. Well, the thing is here, let's see. So I think having a lot of, first of all, like keeping setup simple is important. And I don't think what you're describing makes it like super hard, but it does add an extra step, right? To like go find these cards. And so sorting out the deck, right? So you're asking players to sort the deck first. And that is partly what I would, you know, that's a possible future here. But is that worth it? That's the question, right? That's what I was reflecting on a little earlier. If we make them go through these steps, is it going to solve some problem? What is the problem here? That being specific about which cards end up in here, what's the problem that we're solving? One of them is that you could accidentally end up with, what in the world? What is this? Oh, interesting. What? Wait a minute, this just built the game. I have never seen this before. Wow, interesting. I have no idea what's happening here. Are these guys taking turns? What in the world? Wow. Okay, there are some problems here, but this is wild. Have you seen this before, Mike? I did not expect this. What? I don't know what's happening. I don't think, I mean, there's no way this is like accurate to the gameplay we're working on, but this is crazy. What? Discard one to oh, wait a minute. Discard one to refill. It kind of does. Wait, how do I... What in the world? Wow. I don't know what happened. Also, oh, draw a card. I don't know why the layout is like this. Refresh. This is unbelievable. Start mission. Are they? Is it starting with? This file creates the interactive game board. Wow. That's not what I asked for, but that's interesting. Yeah, let me see. I'm gonna. I kind of wanna. I feel like this is a complete distraction, but I kind of want to tweak this a little bit and see what happens. First of all, I'm going to going to applaud. No. Thank. Build up. I can't think of the word right now. This is great. Encourage. This is great. Let's make some tweaks. How much control do I have over the layout of the canvas? Yeah, I'm curious if it can play itself. So there was a time I was asking Gemini to like do some play testing, and it looked encouraging. It looked encouraging, but then it was also in its own, like it did not match reality at all. Eventually that became clear. This, however, is really interesting. The active player is first responder. Yeah, let me the challenge cards should the challenge card piles should all be shuffled. at the start of the game. This is insane. And then how many players? I guess we're playing with 4 players. Yeah, you're right that it should be pretty straightforward. There was another game that I was working on. Yeah, the game that I was asking it to playtest was certainly more complex than this, for sure. How nuts is this though? I can't. I had no idea it was capable of like building out the game board and everything, or the play area. Yeah, randomized before. So something went wrong. Fair enough. Well, let's see. Start mission. Okay, these are randomized. How do I shrink? I want to blow this up so we can at least see it slightly better. This is where it'd be nice if I get another big screen. That would help. I like that. Maybe you should ask it what other advanced tools it's confident will help you test the game. I like that. This is amazing. It's weird that I asked it for like a rule book, but it interpreted this as I was vague enough in my question that it built this whole thing. And I never would have known otherwise. This is amazing. What other tools can you offer to help me conceptualize and playtest this game? I wonder if I'm able to go back. I am able to go back. Okay, here's the official rule set. Yeah, like, where did this come from? I mean, why did this make sense to make right now? Also, if this is anywhere close to what the rules of this game are going to look like, finally, this is amazing. Like, this is perfect. This is exactly the kind of, very slim rule set that we're looking for here. Like, you can imagine just a little, fold out, like, double-sided thing for the whole rule book. That would be amazing. Yeah, okay, so we've got the rule set and design specs. It's a design specs. What is that? So the component list, it's great. I'm sorry this text is so small. But anyway, I'm glad the stream held up today because it was very, very touch and go there at the start. Okay, so it's got a playtesting data logger. And oh, what in the world? This says I've added the rule set markdown document and integrated playtesting metrics into the ADRA HQ game HTML file. The results will now be shown in the game over modal? M-O-D-A-L? Why is it modal? Interesting. It includes. I also included placeholder logic for the group contribution bonus, indicating the next necessary design step. What do you think of the official rule set, and are you ready to define the rest of the character decks? Well, let me go back to this thing. I'm literally blown away. Like, this should not be possible. But it is. Here we are. Okay, let me see. Interesting. I wonder what is wrong. Okay, it's building this HTML thing. I wish there was a way to make this like full screen. Maybe there is. I cannot believe this. It also did extrapolate the player decks, because I don't think I asked it to make the first responder deck. That's what this one is right here. And I guess it extrapolated, even though it's saying, do you want to define the rest of the character decks? Mike, there was something that I think AI could help with, but it's not necessarily great for it, maybe. We don't really need it. But I was thinking through the effects of the bonuses for completing challenge cards. So there could be some fun brainstorming to do there. Wait, I did not say to start. Oh, but they're all face up anyway, so that's perfect. It's interesting that they put the symbols on here. Oh, why is this invisible? So start. Yeah, something went wrong. Something went wrong. So it's just not working at all. What do I call this? The what? The game, what is this? The interactive canvas. The game is not working at all. Please fix. So as far as like the effects or the like the kind of bonus, I think the easy ones are like everybody draws a card, right? That's a pretty easy one. That could be like if you resolve like the 5 symbol challenge. If you resolve the four symbol challenge, maybe just the active player draws a card, something like that. Or like if you defeat the 7 symbol one, then one thought is, then you could have yeah, the 7 symbol challenge card, you could have like maybe if you defeat that one or resolve that one, then maybe everybody gets to play a card out of their hand to a new to an available challenge card. So That could be kind of a cool chain reaction thing. You know, everybody's like out of turn at that point. Just play something from your hand. Okay, should we try this again? Something went wrong. What happened? Anyway, I can always come back to this. Sorry, still not working. Do we have all of the pieces we need to play the all of the components we need to play the game? Yeah, it's still frozen. Okay, conditionalize the benefit might be a little too complicated. But like draw one card per active 3x challenge card. So you can play with the timing when to complete it a little bit. Draw one card per active 3. Oh, like 3 symbol challenge card or whatever. Right. I think we're in expansion territory there. This is certainly expandable. This was an interesting part of the conversation yesterday. Well, I think we're actually going to put real projects that ADRA has participated in on the cards. So with the 40 cards, then we're actually going to like have images, probably, I think, have images of actual places and projects. And so that's like infinitely expandable at this point. So we can certainly add more mechanics and ideas as we go. But yeah, you're right. I think anything conditional like that might take us beyond at least the base game complexity that I think would be a good fit. But I mean, at this point, you know, well, number one, we're still early enough where every idea is a good idea in a way, and then every idea is worth writing down or using as a launch pad for other ideas. So yeah, I'm not sure what conditions would be really simple to process. It could be like per player, you know. Well, I don't know why that would be helpful, but you could do something per player. It says the game is currently fully functional, meaning you can start the mission. Cannot. No, it's not functional. Can you try rebuilding the code? Yeah, so what's cool is this game, once these symbol distributions are done, and once we pick like 1 or 2 special effects or bonuses or benefits from completing a challenge card, that's essentially a full prototype at that point. And it's cool because I think Gemini can take us there, and I feel great about that. I don't have any issue in terms of like, is this an AI game? I don't really have a problem with AI doing that that sort of rote algorithmic task. So, so we're basically there to prototype. One thing I did, so it's October 1. How nuts is that? October 1. And, oh, it didn't like something just now. Something went wrong. Yeah, it's like getting overloaded somewhere. I'm just gonna refresh, see if that helps us, because I think my connection is fine. There are these weird behaviors sometimes where I think it's this one. Okay, yeah. It kind of like gets overwhelmed and it'll just say, oops, your internet connection, something, something. Or I don't know, that's my guess, is for some reason it might have met its limit somehow in its like memory or whatever. Because I haven't asked this chat, I haven't asked it to do a lot, but it might be hitting a limit somewhere. Okay, I'll try one more time and then perhaps transition away. But this is, if this works, it's crazy that it worked right at the beginning. That's before I really knew anything about what was going on. I said, what's this, right? What is going on here? And then what happened? Like what went wrong? Like I wonder why that button, that single button is invisible unless you mouse over it or click it or whatever that was. I wonder why it says, what does this mean? NAN symbols. Like there are no symbols for, haven't defined any symbols for the challenge card type, maybe? Okay. It's working now. Oh, cool. It does. Okay. Play selected card, click challenge. Okay, the focus is north, so I can spend a card there. I don't have any more. And maybe it's, you know, just in this 1 second of trying this game, if I don't have a card to use, maybe I just draw. Like it's take 2 actions, draw a card, take 2 actions, and it could be draw 2 cards. It could be like, it's already like, what do? I don't want to refocus. That's fine. I don't want to discard one. I just don't have any cards that have symbols that help me anymore with this one. Is that already something to adjust after 2 seconds of playing the game? That's crazy. No, right now, I mean, at least the way I wrote it for early on, it's either draw a card or play up to 2 cards. It's not take 2 actions. But I think it is now suddenly take 2 actions. Let's adjust the rules. On a player's turn, they can take 2 actions. Take up to 2 actions? Or they must take 2 actions. They can take, I'm just going to go with up to 2 for now. Draw a card. Play a card to a challenge. Oh, I don't know. I just ran into this, like for me, this is enough of a problem that what I did is I played 1 card to the focused challenge, and now there's nothing else I want to do. I mean, like, I don't want to refocus. I don't want to discard a card to flip over ADRA. There's no reason for that yet. Between when you draw your 1 card in your next turn, yeah, but like, I decided to play a card, and now I can play 1 more card, or pass. Is that it? I don't think it's a problem to make this adjustment. Take 2 actions. If a lot of people do that in a round, it's an indicator that you should refocus. I guess I don't. I guess I don't. Right now, I'm not seeing the reason to put the pressure on the player to either draw or discard and play cards. It does seem reasonable. Is it more confusing? Is it more difficult to understand that you can do 2 things? You can do any 2 things? Yeah. True. I'm gonna try this. I'm just gonna. I think I can just have it make the adjustment really quick. Game over. Yeah, true. Well, it's kind of like if I can't do anything. If I can't do anything, I might as well be able to draw a card. Right? I think so. I mean, otherwise, it's kind of like... Yeah, maybe. But even for me, I got stuck on the idea that maybe maybe I should have just drawn a card if I can't really help a whole lot with the thing. Also, I guess I have no way to pass. That's an interesting point. I guess I don't. Yeah, let me I can go on along with that for a little while. Let me try this again. So they can also pass. Let's adjust the canvas. On a player's turn, they can also pass if they can't or don't want to play a second card. Can you add a pass pass button. This is also weird. Can you pass? Are you allowed to just pass in general? Like, I don't want to take my turn? I mean, you would draw a card, right? Well, you might be at the bottom of your deck, and so maybe you have nothing to do, but if you draw your last card, then everybody loses. Can you pass? So if you can't or don't want to, well, but what I'm saying is, well, is it play exactly 2 cards or pass? That's the question. Because if I only want to play 1, then after playing 1, I can pass. Right? So it's a different type of pass. It's either draw a card or play up to 2 cards. That's right now, that's the thinking, I guess. So you're right that passing in general, if I don't want to play any cards, I must draw a card. Well, that's interesting. It's also that's a consideration. Let's see. Let's adjust the canvas. On a player's turn, they can also pass if they can't or don't want to play a second card. Conditional upon here. I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna see if Jim and I can handle this. This is conditioned upon whether or not the player has already played a card. If the player chooses not to play, they must draw a card and pass. That would be a second. So let's play cards or pass. I do play up to 2 cards. Otherwise, you have to add a rule when they only have 1 card in hand. Yeah, it must be play up to 2. Yeah, that's right. It must be play up to 2. If they can't, can you add a pass button that's conditioned upon whether or not the player has already played a card? If the player chooses not to play a card, they must draw a card and pass. That would be a second button. Well, let's see if it can handle this. Also, what was this button? Let me see. So this one is in focus. I can play that here. Okay, first responder. I could do that. Okay, now it's the doctor. Can we fulfill? I can with this card. Nice. Wait, but I only... Oh, that was weird. Once the doctor fulfilled... Let me try another one. Wait, why did the focus change? Yeah, like this is definitely not right. Hurry up! Why did the focus change west? So I'll go there. Discard a card to refocus. This button doesn't work. Or like, how do I do that? That didn't do anything, right? Discard 1 to refocus. That's still not letting me do anything. Oh, maybe I had to select one. Yeah, this is not working. Yeah, I was trying that. Yeah, there's some errors here. Next player must flip back. Like, there's no way to flip HQ back. I'm clicking around. At least I don't see it. Right, there's nothing there, and then it says something went wrong. I think I did describe focus. Yeah, discard 1 selected card from your hand to rotate ADRA HQ card 1. Oh no, this is not at all. Yeah, so it's good to double check here. I did not write this. I think it guessed this. Let me make a couple. The ADRA HQ card cannot be flipped back over once the players visit ADRA HQ to be an error. Well, let's see. Let's see if it can make some changes here. The first action also says you can play cards to any face-up. Oh, I didn't see that. This is so cool. Wow, there's a lot going on here. And I can't jump away. I guess I can't while it's working on this. Oh, nice. Okay, so it did add these buttons. Let me go look at these rules again. So oh, interesting. So it is actually sorting them by type as well. Like it just has the emergency response cards in the north. Interesting. Okay, so on your turn, you must perform one of the following options. Draw 1 card from your personal deck and add it to your hand. Okay. Perform up to 2 actions from the following list in any combination. Action 1, play to a challenge. Play 1 or 2 selected cards from your hand onto any face-up challenge card. Okay. Action 1. The player can only play player cards to the challenge card in focus, meaning that the ADRA HQ card arrow is pointing to that challenge card. Okay, what else? Oh, I remember reading something that also felt off. I think it was down here, completing challenges. Also, if action 1 is play 1 or 2, then it can play more than 2 cards because it's taking 2 actions. Right. So you mean somebody would understand that as action 1 is play 2 cards to 1 challenge card. And so if you could do that action twice, then you're actually playing 4 cards. Yeah, I think that's a good catch. Only play 1 player card to the challenge card in focus. Let's see if it fixes it. Play 1 selected card from your hand onto the face-up challenge card in the current HQ focus quadrant. A little bit wordy there, but that'll work. Symbols. Okay. I think I wonder if it's important to specify that the card played there must have symbols on it, that at least one symbol on it that matches the challenge card. I mean, you could just play a card there for no reason, but that would be sad. I don't know if there needs to be a rule about that. Okay, action 2 is discard 1 selected card from your hand to rotate ADRA HQ. Okay, now action 2, if a player discards a card to refocus ADRA HQ, they can rotate ADRA HQ to be pointing to any quadrant, not just one step away. Another rules clarification. Yeah. Okay. Action 3. Discard 1 selected card from your hand to flip the ADRA HQ card to its visited side. The player immediately draw... I think it's all players, right? I think all players are going to draw back up. Action 3. Another rule clarification. Action 3. All players draw up to original hand size. If one player takes the visit HQ action, yeah, I think it was all players. Yeah, okay, so I'm just looking at Twitch now, and by the way, welcome, Pipnetic. I can't really tell when these comments are made. So mostly what I'm doing with my friend Mike is we're brainstorming. Oh, cool. So we already have discussed the rules, and now what we've just had is Jim and I just drafting the rule book really quickly, and so I think you can kind of do both, but my preference is to think through the rules ourselves and then just go back and tweak if Gemini is getting things wrong. But if you haven't used an AI bot for these tasks, it's pretty amazing. If you let the reins go though, the bot will actually like take over and basically write the game. Um oh, okay. So rules editing on my own game, what a nightmare. Definitely my least favorite part of the process. Yeah, I I know the feeling, but I'm curious about what your experience has been in using AI tools to draft rulebooks. Or which bot are you using? Yeah, another rule clarification. It's interesting when Gemini just sort of makes up its own stuff, and then I hadn't come back and I had not come back to check on the rules until we just ran across this like interactive canvas thing. Yeah. Um, Pipnetic, Mike is inviting you to join the chat on YouTube. I'm not sure why. Only use it once in our current project. We use ChatGPT, but it's for 5 different games. Yeah. What are you guys publishing? Are you trying to sign the games with somebody? Like, what's your or like where can we learn more about your games? How about that? I don't know about ChatGPT. I just know that um, I think ChatGPT has been seriously outpaced by Grok, and I think the latest um, I don't know. My understanding is the latest Gemini is also better. If you're seeing, I don't know if Grok, I don't know if ChatGPT does this stuff. Do they have like documents off to the side that you can use to like edit and then make, like export docs and stuff like that? I'm very impressed with. I'm very impressed with Gemini. I haven't gone back to Grok since their latest update. I was mostly. Oh, cool. Well, hey Zach. So, um, third project. It's actually in a book format that will self-publish. Our last game we did 1,000 copy print run. Nice. That's substantial, significant. Yeah, that's awesome. We've gone too deep into ChatGPT to see if we can have the side-by-side doc view. So I'm happy to recommend Gemini or Grok. They do similar things. I found that Grok was overconfident. Um, I guess I can share. I mean, Twitch is fine, but I'll drop it in here too. Right? We're not hating on Twitch, right, Mike? That's funny. Um, yeah. Zach, do you have like a link to your guys' website or anything like that? Gotcha. Okay. So, welcome to Zach's stuff, everybody. Oh, nice. I think I've heard of Steve Finn. So this is pretty cool. Yeah. Zach, you need to update your website, bro. Yes. Okay, I do remember Biblios. And cities. I haven't seen cities yet, but I remember this idea of cities. Cool. Well, that's awesome. So your Kickstarter is launching Monday. That's a big deal. Available on Amazon. Where did you come up with Pipnetic? Hang on one second. Let me just do this. Scribble me this. Oh, nice. Yeah, so I don't have much going on yet, but I do have, yeah, I have two. That's me. So I have Sowers from New Kingdom Gaming, and then I self-published the Pathfinder Club game. Thanks for the follow. So my website is not as clean looking as yours, and it's just the generic. I never got my own domain name. So we have, this is Cabletop Games, and so I have the game up here. I think I'm going to be shipping no, I definitely am shipping everything myself these days. I was fulfilling from, oh, I can't even think of the name of it right now, but in China I had like a little fulfillment center I was partnering with, and that was when that was kind of early on last year. It was like August that I was really starting to fulfill some number that was beyond what I would want to fulfill by myself. But I still have probably 700 copies of this game that I would love to offload somehow. Anyway, that's a roll and write that I'm happy about, but I think it's slightly beyond the intended audience. So there's some lessons learned there. Yeah. Well, anyway, Zach, happy to connect with you. I stream for the last 3 months. I've been streaming an hour every morning. So I'm in Hawaii. I'm on the island of Oahu, and Mike's been jumping in quite a lot. Been really, really helpful. Another friend, Francisco, has joined a little bit, but I'm loving this. The main reason I'm doing this is just to move forward on designs, and I learned that talking out loud, whether anybody's listening or not, is really productive for me, because I think the thinking happens during the talking. Yeah. Yeah, I think streaming has been really, really good. So partly it's, there's just the fact that it's an hour a day to do things game related. So that's it. That's the baseline, is just having the routine of designing an hour a day. Well, I actually don't end up designing an hour a day. Sometimes I'm just thinking through other things or chatting about game related topics. So like this morning, thinking about complexity and and the number of rules that end up in a game and how that affects the teach, it affects the cognitive load on players. So so that's not designing, but it is thinking through design related issues. And then there's the actual like productivity piece where externalizing my thoughts and now having a few people to dialogue with, it's amazing. So I've made good progress on at least 2 games. Is it 2? 3. It's 3 because I also have a surfing game I've been working on. Yeah, super valuable. And I don't feel like Francisco, he was on a little while ago. Francisco has like a super fancy setup for streaming. Like it looks really good. For me, this is a really simple setup that does not look pretty, but it does what it needs to do. I do have a little mic. I don't know, the camera's okay, and I have a couple of these little ring light kind of things, but the main thing is just have the exercise, just have the routine of daily design. Anyway, congrats for having this game out there. That's a big deal, right? Anytime you build something and you put it out into the world, I think that's a huge deal. Mike, I forget. What do you have something? I feel like you do. I hope I'm not anyway, I know you've got projects you're working on. Yeah, not out yet, but eventually. Yeah. We'll all get there for sure. Oh, cool. The mic, I'm actually surprised it works okay because I do have a couple fans going. Usually it's a little warm over here. Oh, interesting, Zach. 0 posts on Instagram with 505 followers. How did that happen? Traveling Dog Publishing. I don't know who these folks are, but cool. I kind of feel like, isn't it the case that like everybody's trying to be a publisher these days? That's what it feels like. Zach Cruz. Yeah. Yeah, Mike, I'm trying to. It was through BGDL that we connected, right? Zach, if you're not in the BGDL Facebook group, the Board Game Design Lab Facebook group, you must be, but if you're not, that's an incredibly valuable resource. Like wildly valuable. Oh, okay. Nice. Let me see. You know what though, on Twitch, I kind of expected that there would be more game designers, like tabletop game designers, but for some reason I think that's really rare. I mean, it makes sense that most people are streaming like video games and stuff, but I thought there might be at least a few more. But when I searched, like almost nothing came up. So I'm sure it's not the best platform for it, but it seems like at least a handful of people would be doing design. Zach. Have you not posted here either? My man. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you mean Twitch. Zach found you there, so it offers something at least. I mean, oh, you're from Rochester. No way. There's somebody else. Oh, Galen's from Rochester, right? That's pretty cool. There's a little con. Okay. You made it out of um what is it? Kodak territory? Wasn't it Kodak? I think my uncle worked for Kodak for a really long time. Yeah, I grew up in upstate New York, but it was like Elmira Corning area. But my cousin, well, one of my mom's brothers, and so my cousins and my aunt and uncle live in Rochester, but most everybody's in Buffalo. Yeah, it's just odd. Twitch is it feels like there might be a little more activity for game design, but I guess we're getting there. We are the difference. Wait, is that it? Be the difference. Be the change. We are the change that we want to see in the world. Cool. No, I think participating in BGDL is pretty amazing, and some of it is just like I think it's really fun to try to create prompts that are interesting. I mean I don't think I'm not trying to be controversial or anything. It's more like what what kind of discussions can we get going? I think that's a pretty cool challenge. So what do I usually I don't know. This one, here's one. This shocked me. Um they have the crafting category, but that's usually like people knitting. Oh, really? They're just knitting and like chatting or something. So this I thought was fascinating. So my routine, my habits typically result in making digital prototypes for a while before I make anything material, any physical prototypes. This I thought was interesting. I might have designed this post wrong. Oops, that's annoying. Did you want to hear my printer? So I said team physical prototype, thumbs up, digital prototype, heart. And I think it's possible that most people are just going to thumbs up if they see a post and they see something printing. So I think I screwed that up. But so team physical prototype, thumbs up. Everybody except for me and one other person. See, it's 24-2 because I'm a heart person on this one. I was like shocked that more people don't do they don't prioritize digital prototypes. I was really surprised. Mechanical keyboards. That is really funny. I really like what Matt Dunstan's doing in his YouTube channel, because the funny thing is he started streaming design during the pandemic. I think he was actually gaming and designing during the pandemic, and only recently he started doing shorter form, more focused, like teaching type content. And I thought that that's a pretty cool shift. I'm mostly interested at this point. I'm mostly interested in actually designing while I'm streaming, but I appreciate that he is, you know, he's shifting more into coaching. I think that's great. Yeah, see, physical prototypes. Um, oh, this is the next. This is your next. Here, let me have a look at your next. You said it's launching on Monday. Cool. 5 fun and unique multiplayer drawing games all in one book. Only pencil, scissors, and a timer required. That's nice. So it's almost like it's like print and play adjacent. That's cool. This is what you're saying. Yeah, I think that's smart. I think that's smart. This is what you're saying is like the 1,000 pages or something. So you just have like 200 pages per game. Something like that. Steve Finn's solo company. Let me see. Have you seen any of the content by the guy who made Exploding Kittens? He makes great content. I have not. I've listened to some of his interviews and stuff. I think we have different design goals, which is probably why I haven't spent more time looking into what he's doing. I think what he's doing is brilliant for the mass market. It's obviously brilliant because it's working. Oh, some book. This one. Let me bring this in here too. Where'd that go? Okay, 8 fast and fun solo games to play anywhere with dice and a pencil, no cutting required. I think this is, yeah, this is really smart. So my, like the Pathfinder game is, the Pathfinder game is a roll and write, so it's like a tear-off sheet game, or it's a book that has tear-off sheets. I feel like this is a really good contender for being like, what is it on Amazon, the print on demand books. Did you guys go that direction too, or are you actually like manufacturing them? Oh, that's so good. What is it called? Amazon. I forget the 3 letters. Print on demand, but it's like a, like, what did you upload it to? KDP, Kindle, whatever. Yeah, that's great. I think that's a really really cool idea. Um, yeah, that's really smart. Yeah, you're making me think I could have Kindle Direct Publishing. You're making me realize I could have actually I cannot do it with the Pathfinder game because I have a coexistence agreement with Paizo because we're using the word Pathfinder in the name. So I can't do that, but I definitely I'm a big fan of roll and writes or like the concept of print and play stuff. Yeah. Um yeah, that's cool. That's really great. So, well, I guess I'm going to see how like what the bridge looks like. So this is this going to take it's going to take me to Amazon? Oh, here it is. Good ideas. I think this is a really a neat model. Yeah. I'm back. Let's see. I almost don't want to tell anyone about it because selfishly I don't want other people to do it and crowd the market. I get it. Yeah, I get it. No inventory, no fulfillment, no costs other than buying an ISBN. Yeah. Um, Zach, you might not be shocked to know that I am also uh, a low content book creator on Amazon. I did this like 2 years ago, and like pretty much nobody bought these things, but yeah, that's funny. Put my name in. Pipnetic or Zach? This is you. Yeah, nice. Um, wow, nice work. Wow, you have a lot. That's very cool. I only put two, and I think they're I think they're kind of useful or interesting, but wow, there's a lot going on. I think we just ran out of your stuff. That's cool. Hopefully this is working for you. Oh, really? People using your name? What? How's that possible? What does that mean? The greatest collection of riddles and brain teasers for expanding your mind. 1.9 thousand reviews. Wow, that's a big deal. I can't see how many copies you sold though. Right? It doesn't list how many copies you've sold. Anyway, congrats for finding something that looks like it's working for you. Um, oh, let's see. I think it was Cable Kind. Let me see. Cable kind. Probably, oh, not LLS. I also don't know where. Let me see. Cable kind book. I thought it was cable kind. Set the drop down. You found something? Yeah, yeah. That's right. So the musician one. Oh yeah. Books. Yeah. These were mostly just like experimental, just to see how see the process. So, you know, I generated some puzzles. There's like lines in the book for like taking notes, like literally like notation for music. Yeah, some coloring stuff. I don't know, it was just like a fun kind of project that it was really just more about seeing how the process works. I actually do think this one is relatively useful for people who are like um reflective musicians. This one is kind of goofy. I actually think it's cool. I found these images of planes, and all the pages are the different the different what views of planes, like profile, top down, or whatever. So it's not that. I mean, I don't think I'd be wasting. I definitely feel like I'm not wasting anybody's money if they bought these, but they're just not. Yeah, they were just very experimental, not like professional quality. I would think. So anyway, that's that. Um, Let me go back. I'm gonna go back um, to seeing if we ran out of some things to do for. Yeah. I wonder if we got anywhere here. I'm gonna just spend a couple more minutes on this, and then I'm at about 2 hours. Yeah, yeah. Happy to connect with you, Zach. I think it's always fun to, yeah, always fun to um, connect and see if we can move each other's designs forward. I'm always happy to, if there's time to play test or anything, or even some rules feedback. I've done some editing for a publisher, that kind of thing. So, yeah, good luck to you. I'll see you soon. I'm just gonna wrap up a little bit of what was going on here. See if there was any more clarification to sort out. Um, yeah, the physical prototype thing is really interesting. I used to do that. I used to have some like kind of like note, what are those called? Like the lined index cards, and I just write something down on them. But I just find it so much easier, so much faster for me to prototype in Canva or something. Oh no, that's not true. But I feel like I can update a mod in TTS pretty quickly at this point. So yeah, I could scribble, but then I don't know. I just hate stacks of junk index cards around and stuff like that. Yeah, cool, Mike. Thanks for your time, your input, and hanging out. Good stuff. I'll see you soon. Okay, let me see if there are any more rules here. Yeah, okay, that's good. But I'm gonna adjust. Bonus, refocus. If a player completed a challenge card from start to finish by themselves in a single turn, they may refocus ADRA HQ for free at the end of their turn after sweeping away any completed challenge cards and the player cards that completed them. No. It's not their first action. They can spend all of the actions on their turn. Up to 2 cards on a challenge card. So it is possible for a player to resolve a challenge card by themselves that at the start of their turn was empty. So we just need to clarify that. I wonder why this is so challenging. Okay, anyway, I'm gonna transition away for today. I feel like this was pretty productive and exciting that it looks like there may be a tool to help us playtest. Anyway, a couple of hours well spent. Thanks for hanging out with me, and look forward to more of this time together. I will see you soon. That's it for me.